Hello, and welcome to Dente Rigamortis. I'm Review Cultist.
And I'm Dr. Leviathan.
And we're here to discuss those internet stories most creepy and most pasta. Tonight we have Anansi's Goatman story. So for those of you just tuning in for the first time, go Google creepypasta and find out what it is. Well, yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're creepy campfire stories that get posted across the internet. And today's story is rather campfire-y. So, the Goatman story, or Anansi's Goatman story, first popped up on the X thread of 4chan, which is the paranormal entities or encounters section of it. And then it got cataloged onto creepypasta.wiki, which is where we both read it on. And so you can check it out there, and you can also listen to a reading of it by Mr.CreepyPasta or the channel IReadCreepyPasta. Yeah, no, that's straight up what it is. I'll leave it in the discussion notes or in the description.
It's a straightforward title.
Yeah, I read creepy, and I think it's like all, like not all caps, but like all the words are capitalized. But, yeah, I'll leave it in the description and show notes. So, let's just dive into this one. It starts off, for the first part of it, done in jot note form. Like, the character giving some, like, the brief details of, like, how this whole thing started. Like, he's 16, his family has a farm out.
No. He be 16.
Oh, yeah, he be 16. His family has
be black and have family down in Alabama. Like,
yeah.
I am really glad that this gets ditched early on.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think what it was is that like he did the jot notes like in the first like post on the thread, and then decided to give the rest of the story in a proper format because it was just too long otherwise.
See, I just assumed it was a. Like, you know, he was doing it just to be funny, almost. Like, just as a little, like, man, isn't it annoying when everyone else does this? Don't worry, I'm not going to.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
That's
you know, actually, that's true,
I always prefer to think that people are, you know, making fun of shit as a...
Yeah. Well, yeah, because actually a lot of things on those threads tend to be jot forms, note stories.
Well, yeah, we've read some of them here.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it says
that's
that, like...
just my opinion.
Yeah.
And that makes me... When I think like that, when I think about things like that, it makes me feel better about the world in which I live. Because people are, you know, more people are just as cynical and bastardy as me.
True.
I may be very wrong.
Hopefully.
But
so he goes on saying that like his family owns some it's trailers, right? Yeah, trailers out in the woods. And so him and a bunch of cousins and their friends decide to go out there and camp for the weekend. And they put all their stuff there. They notice this weird smell like ozone or like electricity in the air, or like copper, like dried blood. But they ignore it, not thinking much of it. Drop all their stuff off at the campsite, go to the local creek, and start swimming for a couple of hours. They encounter Hunter and his son, and it turns out that they're actually like friends with the guy's uncle who owns the property. And the kid asks his dad if he can hang out with them, and they can, so they hang out and stuff. And that's about when it decides to cut the jot note format and go into paragraphs, because the story's too long for just jot notes. And they get back to camp, and the kid wants to go and see if he can go back to his house and find out if they can if he can stay out with them. So they go off, hit this guy, kid Tanner, the main narrator's cousin Rooster, and a girl that is just with them. Decide to go out there, and they hang out. They head out there, and the rest of them just chill at the campsite. They start a fire, start some s'mores. A little bit later, it's getting late, and suddenly the three kids just come rushing back, like full sprint, into the campsite, and just completely ignore the fire and all that, and just run right inside the camp, into the trailer. So does everybody else, since they get spooked by their sudden activity. So they all get in, they lock the door. They're like bawling their eyes out, and they're exhausted, and they're all like dirty and stuff. And one of the girls goes out to go check the fire, and the Tanner says, "No, keep the door locked. Don't go out there." And then they proceed to tell them the story about how when they went back to his place, they got some stuff, and the dad asked if they wanted to bring a gun out because there's a wild animal out there. Because apparently they had seen that one of their animals had been killed and eaten by something. But he decided not against it because they had numbers. And on the way back, they encountered this person out in the woods who didn't really say anything or anything like that, just kind of like was hunched over in the woods. And as they started, it just kind of creeped them out, but they kept going. And as they got closer and closer to the campsite, there was like noises in the woods around them. And eventually, like as they're approaching the campground, this thing just pops out of the woods behind them, and they just start running. So that's when they got into the trailers and why they're out there. So they decided to wait it out in there. They're not seeing anybody. They have, and they decided to make up some hot dogs. And they start serving them out, and they start eating. And one of the guys like grumbling, it's like, "Oh, you had 2, and everybody else got 1." And it's like, "No, I didn't. I had 1, like everybody else." And then one of the girls, just the girl that was with Tanner and Rooster, just jumps up and is like, "Oh Jesus! Oh God! Get it out!" And then she just books it out of the trailer, and they all just kind of book it out of the trailer out onto the campground. And that's when the characters realize there was one more person in the trailer than there should have been. And now there's the normal number, but there was one already in there, and he'd actually, now the guy was thinking on it, he thought there was something weird like earlier in the day, but they had been an extra person with them for half the day, so not including Tanner, and so that freaks them out.
Also, before this, you hear there's one of the people brings up the Goatman and explains this.
Right, yes.
Because the Goatman can look like anyone.
Yeah, he's a shape changer.
So why they would choose to look like the Goatman is beyond me.
Mythology, folklore, and like legends never really make a whole lot of sense half the time.
Well, yeah, but like, I'm a Goatman. I can look like anyone.
Yeah, but I mean,
you know what? I'm not going to look like a Goatman.
I'm not going to look like a monster. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but it's like half. That's half legends from Native American folklore and stuff. So, yeah, they do describe that before all this starts happening, just to kind of give us a little bit of background about the Goatman. And he even mentions,
and also it explains how they could have a Goatman in their midst and not notice that there's a Goatman in the midst.
Yeah,
because he doesn't look like a Goatman; he just looks like a person. That being said, they've got a fucking tag-along individual in their midst, and they don't notice.
I don't know. Like I did kind of like. I understood when he was coming from, when he was saying that, like, you know, that those things where, like, you're just having a party and you just don't really fret the small stuff. I can kind of see that. Like, I've had those kind of instances where I don't know everybody in, like, the camp around the bonfire I'm hanging out with. So if an extra person was to show up, I wouldn't really notice. But maybe that's just me, because I do drink while I'm there, so who knows?
Yeah, but I don't know.
It is kind of weird. Like
I pay too much attention to my surroundings.
Yeah, but not everybody does.
But someone, like...
Yeah, I know.
He says early on that there's like 15, 17 people here.
Yeah.
And that many, someone's paying enough attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, no, there wasn't 15 or 17. That was their age. For some reason, the guy likes to add, put in the ages of everybody in the story.
Okay, but
yeah, no, I get, because they mentioned there's 10, and then there's 9.
There's a shit ton of people. There's 11 people. Sorry, I forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's it's about 11 or something.
Yeah, because the numbers were confusing me too, so...
Yeah. So, that's 11 people. That's a lot of people. That's a fair number of people. In that group of people, someone...
should have noticed.
Is remembering faces, and, when a new one pops up out of nowhere, I'm sorry. It just seems implausible that someone's not going to notice a brand new face.
Yeah. Aside, I mean, I don't know. That's what I was almost thinking. Tanner, was going to be. It turned out to be something horrible, but that didn't happen. There's a little bit of indiscrepancy on the thing's powers and stuff in this, but we'll get into that after the rundown.
Because it's not looking like one of them. It's
looking
it's not
like
doing the
different
thing.
Person. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not doing the thing. It's not assimilating people. It's just assuming a new form.
Yeah, it's just hanging out. So that's kind of where I have the problem right there. Is just immediately.
Yeah.
It hung out with them and. They're okay with it.
Yeah, they were okay with it, and then they realized that there was something wrong about it. So,
yeah.
So the characters decide to stay out around the fire, I believe, until the smell comes back with the vengeance, to the point where one of them is vomiting, and they all rush back into the trailer and lock it again, and put somebody out by the no, they don't put somebody out. That's the next night. They go inside the trailer, lock it, and then they all fall asleep. And they wake up the next morning. A couple of them are still asleep, but a few of them are just packing up their stuff and getting ready to leave. There's a small group of people that want to just leave now, and there's a bunch of people that are still want to stick around till it gets lighter, and then a few of them are still thinking this is all just a big prank or joke, so they want to stay camping. So. And unfortunately, the main narrator can't leave, even though he wants to, because it's his uncle's place. He's got the key. He's got to lock it all up. So So
why doesn't he just make the call that's, nope, we're done.
It's no, we're
There's
done.
something fucking weird going on. I shit thee not. Fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much. But I know, I understand, because, if that was my situation, I'd be like, well, fuck you then. I'm out of here. Peace.
Well, clearly he's one of the freaked out people, right? Because he's like, oh, I can't leave, but I would.
Yeah, if I could, yeah. But and so he tries to get. I think he's trying to he's trying to play the hero and trying to get everybody else, the people that don't want to leave.
Yeah, so tell them to fucking leave.
Yeah,
right?
Fuck this, I'm out of here. It doesn't. There's some discrepancies.
That's not a discrepancy. That's just fucking stupid.
Yeah. So some of the people leave, but there's still the remainder. The girl Kiera, who told everybody to get out of the trail in the first place, is freaked out because she was actually grabbed by the Goatman person thing in the trailer. But she leaves, and Tanner goes with them so that he can go get his gun. And so a little bit time goes by. Did he just leave? Do they just go back into the trailer and lock it? Yeah. No, they go in. They're in the trailer. They've locked it, and they have somebody posted out at the window to check it. And it's when somebody says that Kiera's out by the fire, and so one of the girls goes out to go check on her, and she stops about halfway when she realizes that Kiera's acting really weird. She's hunched over, not facing her. And heaving, almost like she's laughing without making a sound. And that's when they notice that there's no sound at all in the woods, which is super eerie because it should be animal life or something rustling and whatnot. But there's no sound of that. So he calls her back. The narrator calls the girl back, and they close the door and lock it. And that's when, and as that's happening, they get a knock on the door, and it's Tanner. And so they let him inside, and he's got his gun, and says that his cousin will be here in a couple of hours to give them a hand getting out of here and drive them home and stuff. So, and that's when there is a bang on the door, and the creature is trying to get in through the door. It's saying something in a raspy, or it's saying something in a weird, like, guttural voice.
Let me the fuck in, stop fucking playing.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing that Tanner was saying. Like, it's mimicking him, kind of thing. And I read this twice today, too. It's long.
And it's so tedious.
Yeah. It pretty much chronicles...
Because it's a lot of the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, they're doing the full detail of, like, what they happened and what they did and stuff.
It's not even full detail. It's just... It's the same shit. They wait in the trailer, they go outside, then they go back into the trailer, and they wait in the trailer, they go outside.
Actually, then we'll just speed this up a little bit. Like, that's pretty much what happens over the next couple of... Like, next night. Is that they go into the trailer, come out, like, the thing is... is fucking with them the whole time. Reese, Tanner's cousin, shows up with his gun. So, and I actually did like that little line they did. It's like, but it's like, we're all terrified, but at least we were American, so we can shoot it with our guns. Well, I did enjoy that little line. But, and then eventually, Reese just kind of like just gets like so pissed off at this whole thing. Goes through because he is told about the story of what's happened so far, and he actually believes it. Goes out into the out of the trailer and just starts shooting at something across the creek. And there's like rustling and this weird like howling dog talking, like kind of like on the YouTube videos of people who have trained their dogs or cats to talk or speak words. That's kind of what it sounds like. And eventually Reese runs back into the trailer before they lock it again. And he says that he was shooting at it, and it was low to the ground, so started crawling toward them. And eventually, they all decide to just like go to sleep, leaving Tanner as a watch. And eventually, he nods off. And at the end of in the morning, they all pack up their stuff and head out. Though Tanner looks a little weird, and like apparently 2 days later, Tanner tells the narrator why he was so pale and stuff, and it was because over the night, while he was doing watch, somebody came out of the bathroom and went to sleep on the floor. But then so that just seemed nothing like was odd. And then he started counting how many people were in the room, and there was an extra person. So that person was the Goatman in disguise, but he was just sleeping on the floor. And then every so often over the night, while Tanner was faking sleeping, he'd get up, jitter a little bit, and do that weird hack or that weird haunching thing, and then just go back to sleep. And then in the morning he was gone. And so when they all headed out, Tanner grabbed the keys and said he'd lock up, and he went and checked in the bathroom. They had locked the door, but they hadn't fucking locked checked the windows of this thing.
Well, they had closed the windows. They just hadn't checked the window in the bathroom.
Yeah. So that's how it had been getting into the trailer the whole time, was that it was sneaking in there and then just mingling with them as it shape changed and stuff, which, yeah. So eventually, apparently, on the whole walk back to Tanner's place, it followed them as another person and just lagged behind, and eventually it just stopped and stayed out in the woods and looked dead at Tanner and then walked into the woods, and that was the end of the story. Pretty much, that's the end of the story, is that it's a pretty weak ending, because to the character's knowledge, like, all this information was what Tanner had, not what the main character was. So, yeah, that's the goat story.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it, yep. Nothing really came of it. I'm gonna say, though, I did like this story because as I was reading it, it felt like a campfire story. And maybe it was just because, like, I realized after I had finished it, well, I'm gonna have to drive into the through the woods tonight. God damn it, I'm gonna see something. So I got into the mood of it. I was able to get into the story a little bit. Also because I am the kind of person that would go out camping and stuff with my friends and stuff. So this kind of situation really did kind of, I was able to empathize with what was happening, because that's the kind of thing that you want. It's not the kind of thing that you want to have happen on a campfire, on a campsite, or a camping trip, but it's the kind of thing you kind of envision happening, or it's what media has made camping to be like in horror stories. And I do like the idea of the Goatman, like it's a cool little monster, but it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
He like it tries to get in, it's trying to get in and like scare the shit out of them, and or like you presume when it's like honking on the door, scratching at the door, it's trying to get in to kill them, but yet it's mingling with them and stuff, and it's fucking with them in the woods, like
it doesn't. If it was trying to, cause them harm, it has, like, so many opportunities where it has easy access.
It could have killed them all in their sleep, but instead decided to just, snuggle up with them.
Yeah.
Like, the entire story, I was like, okay, is something bad going to happen? Like, is this thing going to kill them or something like that? Or
What's
is
the
like,
motivation of our antagonist? Because that's, what the Goatman is theoretically played up to be.
Is this monster, but I mean, and
it's
like...
supposed to be an antagonist, but it doesn't antagonize in the least.
Yeah, it's there, it's fucking with him. It's a troll. Actually, by the end of it, I was left, it's like, this thing's just one big troll. I'm wondering if maybe, like, he was playing it off that its motivation was that it was like a trickster spirit that lives in the woods, so it's there to fuck with you, but... I don't know, like, we're not given a whole lot of information aside from, it's a Native American, there's a Native American legends of it, and whatnot. But yeah, like, this thing literally is just, it pops up, it mingles with them, and then people realize it's mingling with them, and it disappears.
I don't understand what all the fear is.
I mean, it's kind of unnerving that somebody is sneaking, like, into their midst and, like, chilling with them without them knowing until they realize it. Like, that's kind of unnerving, like, not being aware of the situation.
Yeah, but that's unnerving if it's not a fucking Goatman.
Yeah, that's unnerving if it's a normal person.
So, I don't understand what the fucking, what the terror is just because it is a Goatman, in theory.
Yeah.
There is no confirmation that it is a Goatman.
Yeah, we're, like, the creature, the thing we see... I know. The thing, like, any of the descriptions we're given, even in its first appearance... The most we're given is that it's this person out in the woods, and there's a weird smell about him.
Yeah,
because that's our hint, is that there's this weird smell about this thing. But otherwise, it shape changes. So it's honestly, it felt like so many Skinwalker stories I've read, or I've had my buddy, like one of my buddies at work, like send me from 4chan, where they're just like, we went camping. And then we heard there was some weird stuff going on around the campgrounds areas, and then there was one of us that was taken by something, but they were walking among us the whole time, and then we found them like the next morning. He was dead, and he had been dead for like the whole day. It's that kind of like not that same plot points and stuff, but the same kind of feel of it, like where the thing is just fucking with them and has been with them the whole time, even though it's not actually either not there or it's been puppeting the person. Like it just. Yeah, it just felt like that kind of story, which I've read a couple of times in different variations, where a spirit or something is like fucking with the person by either puppeting one of their friends who's already dead.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't doing that.
It was just screwing with them by
a different
mingling.
Individual, completely, like altogether. I don't know. It just there was no point to the story because nothing really happened.
Yeah, we had no threat. Like, I mean, there was a threat like that was constantly like putting at us.
In
nothing
theory, there was a threat.
Yeah,
but not like it was an unthreatening threat.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, I'm gonna chill out with you.
Yeah, you felt threatened the entire thing, but
I'm antisocial, so no.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it was written so just horribly.
Yeah, I mean, I attribute that to being like it was posted on 4chan thread and stuff. So,
yes,
like when you're posting on a thread, like that's to be expected. We've had those stories countless times. But yeah, I mean, it's still not forgivable. But
yeah,
especially after the one that's archived was apparently edited from the original posting.
And it's just it's so much
tedium.
There's the same shit over and over again. I mean,
like 2 nights go by and the same stuff happens, and like, why did you guys not leave?
I feel very much like this should have taken place in one night and just cut everything in half, like the number of encounters and shit.
Because I think it would have been more like maybe better.
It would have been a better pace, and it would have taken.
Yeah.
there would have been that whole... There wouldn't have been that whole the next morning, like, I wanted to leave, but some people didn't, so I had to stay because of the key. Like, that plot point that just makes no fucking sense. Like, you want to go and you've got the keys, kick everyone out.
Yeah.
Dick move, it's maybe, but it's your call.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it felt like they were trying to push for the horror movie angle where, like, they can't leave. It's like, we wanted to leave, but we couldn't because, what was stopping you from leaving aside from your friends were being dicks and wanted to stick around because they didn't believe in what was happening?
Yeah.
Like,
there's no
other reason other than you just want to keep the plot going.
Yeah. And
which is not not a good sign for your story. When you have to, you need a better excuse, or at the very least.
Yeah, because as soon as I can question why the fuck are you here, I officially don't care what happens to you.
Yeah.
Like, if you're there because you're being a moron,
then you're a horror movie victim.
Went, yeah, I don't care.
In fact, we're hoping the monster kills you now because you're a slasher victim.
Yeah, because you're always you root for the villain in that case.
Yeah. And when there's a building, like when there's a house, an hour, like a half hour's walk, because he said like they were going to wait till for an hour for Tanner to get back.
I think it took 40 minutes the first time.
Yeah.
To go there and back.
Yeah. So less than an hour. Like when it's that,
that's like a 20-minute walk.
Exactly. That's easy. Like you jog, you're there. Like it didn't take that long to get out of there at the end of it.
So yeah, I don't know. The entirety of this story just had a complete and utter lack of threat.
I will give you that.
That's the way.
Yeah, no,
and I just couldn't as much as I dug the idea of the Goatman.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't feel that it was fully realized in this instance. Because at one point it was compared to
the Wendigo.
To the Wendigo,
which is a cannibalistic entity.
Now the Wendigo is fucking
terrifying,
and rip shit up.
Yeah,
the Goatman does not rip shit up.
That was the thing. Yeah, again, it was
why would you compare it to the Wendigo?
Yeah,
when it's nothing like the Wendigo, apparently, or at least when its actions in this story are nothing like the Wendigo.
They're calling it. They're referring it to as the they're connecting it to the Wendigo in that it's a Native American legend. That's all that really was, or it's somebody or some kind of entity or monster in the woods that the Native Americans have legends about. It's the same kind of premise. I think that's the only connection they were drawing. But at the same time, when you add a big heavy hitter
You're
like the Wendigo,
you're also making an assumption that that's the only connection that they were drawing.
But I'm saying the other effect is that when you add a heavy hitter like the Wendigo into your story and connect it to your monster,
I really feel like I should be reading a Wendigo story.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if it is just the Goatman. I'm expecting bloodshed and murderized victims.
Yeah.
And there was just none of it.
I know. We were there was all the setup was all there.
No payoff.
The setup was all there, but there was no payoff.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. The guys had guns, and he was shooting at something that was crawling up toward them. But nothing ever came of it. It banged on the door. It scratched at them. They could smell it. It was causing them terror. It was terrifying them, but it never actually threateningly attacked them. Especially when it was in it could have had ample opportunity. It was in with them 3 or 4 times in the trailer.
Well,
it could have just
many times it was in with them.
Yeah, exactly. If it had even transformed while it was in the trailer, and one of them didn't get out when they all ran out, that would have been more of a payoff than what we got.
Yeah.
Or one of them went missing, or every time it came in and people noticed it, suddenly there was one less person in their midst. It was taking people. That's what I don't get. Why the hell was it just?
How many times do you have them splitting off?
At least a dozen or half dozen times.
And it no one goes missing.
Yeah, exactly. I was expecting the first party to go missing, Tanner and Rooster and Kiera or whatever. And what happened to what was with Kiera? Was she the thing was shapeshifting as her? So where's Kiera? Exactly right. That's actually one of the
you can actually assume
comments.
That she's dead.
Yeah, but we never
well, you don't know that.
Yeah.
Or maybe she was it the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, But no, it can't be because they were doing this whole thing. It was like, oh, there's one more of us than there should have been. I don't know. It was
aware of that, but I'm just saying
No,
it had been a completely different story.
Yeah.
Because, this... Like I say, I like the idea of the Goatman.
And I really dig the campfire story style of it.
Well, like, the setting is a classic,
It's very relatable for a lot of people.
Well, it's a classic horror movie setting.
Yeah.
Friday the 13th. Yeah. Sleepaway Camp. There's a lot of in the woods.
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah, it's a reason it's a trope.
Well, it's an easy way to have people isolated in this day and age because that's why you go to that. That's why you go camping, to get away from people.
Yeah, and unfortunately, and then that's why people. And it's easy again, like you said. That's why people use it in horror stories, is that it isolates people, and that's what you want.
Well, and it's an easy explanation for it because that way you spend less time explaining why these people are all fucking alone, and more time building up suspense for that eventual payoff.
Yeah. And this definitely does the build up.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does the build up.
It doesn't because it does it horribly, and therefore it doesn't. We're out fucking. We're sitting by the fire. We're huddled in the trailer. We're sitting by the fire. We're huddled in the trailer.
Okay, I will give you that. Yeah, that's pretty much.
That's not building suspense. That's annoying.
But it set it. Yeah, he tried to set it up, but he never got the payoff.
Yes,
and
there
the pacing
is an
was off.
attempt to set it up, but it's executed poorly. Ergo, there is no setup.
All right.
If I try to build a house of cards and it keeps falling, I don't have a house of cards.
That's true.
So if a writer tries to set things up, but everything, all of the attempt fails to actually set it up,
he doesn't have a
then there is no setup.
Okay. He just has a write-up.
He just has a lot of words.
Yeah. Okay.
And, again, the monsters, kind of cool, but
a little bit more.
Doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it needs more motivation.
The idea of the monster is kind of cool, but this rendition of it is horrible because it does nothing. And okay, so maybe,
it's just a lonely monster.
Maybe it is a trickster.
Yeah.
Maybe it does just enjoy fucking with people. Maybe it is just lonely. But you gotta tell us.
Yeah. You can't just insinuate it, or try to insinuate it.
It's not even insinuated.
No, yeah, it really isn't. Its actions. We're just assuming based off of its actions in the story, which aren't really portrayed very well. Because again, it's at one point it's it's attacking the trailer to try and get in. At other points, it's screwing with them in the woods, on either side of the forest of the trail. It's causing gibbering and stuff like that. At one point, it's skittering to them as they're firing shotgun shells at it, or rifle shells at it, and then it's sneaking in through the back window and turning into somebody and mingling with them, and then sleeping with them, on the floor. I don't understand its motivation. I need This isn't even a fact of we can't comprehend its motivations. No, we just this thing needs a better outlined motivation.
Inconsistent at best.
Yeah, and it's
and it's just outright fucked.
Yeah, its powers and stuff like that, I don't question at all because it could be something. It's supernatural, obviously.
Yeah,
but its motivations are really not clear.
Yeah.
So
they're just completely not explored at all, because it goes from casual fucking with to antagonistic, almost attack and back again, and then just to I just want to hang out, guys.
I'm just lonely out here in the woods. Yeah.
It's really?
And then, it follows them all the way out, and then just, stares at them, and then walks back into the woods. It's thanks for hanging, bye.
Thanks for visiting. See y'all next year.
Yeah, pretty much. I get what you're saying. It's just, yeah.
There's just no consistency with its behavior, and
it just wasn't executed very well.
No, it was executed horribly.
Yeah.
Should have been executed. But
Yeah. Apparently, so Matt from The Drunk and the Ugly again has sent us this one, and he also mentioned when he sent it to me that there's apparently a short film that is apparently less. It's low budget, like it's like maybe $20 budget, but it's apparently less. It takes longer to read the story than it does to actually watch the movie. It's about 20 minutes long. So, yeah, like people enjoy this. Like there's a bunch of people that have read this one on YouTube, and that's another thing I noticed. Like like with Mr. Creepypasta and IReadCreepyPasta and all the other ones, it seems like there are different slight modifications to the story when people read it. Like they're leaving out sentences or they're leaving out paragraphs of the story, which isn't really a bad thing. It's just when I was reading the story in conjunction with listening to it to refresh myself for the story, it was like, huh, okay, well, they're missing that. All right, well, whatever, I'll just keep reading. But yeah, I know like half the time it was like they were leaving stuff out of it. But I think that's at that point, since I'm now commenting about people reading the story, that I don't think there's actually much else to say.
No, I've pretty much... I'd rather avoid kicking the dead horse.
Yeah. I personally would probably still recommend this one to people, if only just to read because it did affect, I was it did kind of creep me out, some of the stuff that did happen in it, even though there wasn't much of a payoff. And it does, I love that, I do like that, campfire story vibe that gives off for me. So, personally, I would recommend this one.
See, I like the type of story that it's trying to be. I like, just completely random, unexplained supernatural being. I like, the taking place camp with the trailer, groovy. But I can't recommend this just because it's really just frustrating. Because it goes on, and it seems to go back and forth. And that's another thing that I really that got to me about the pacing of it, with going out to the fire, back into the trailer, out to the fire, back into the trailer. Just by bouncing back and forth between those two, settings, it just seems like the story is spinning its tires in the mud, and it has nowhere to go, and it knows it.
Yeah.
And it's hoping that I won't fucking pick up on that.
Yeah. Or it's not willing to kill off a character.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand.
So with no payoff, and with the horrible pacing, and with the inconsistency with the monster's motivations, and with no real demonstration of the monster, I can't recommend it. It's just, there has to be a better type of story that's the exact same as this, just well done. Because it's such a popular thing to do, that why would I recommend this one when I can virtually guarantee that there is a better one out there?
Fair enough.
That's I can't in good conscience recommend something that I just absolutely didn't enjoy.
Okay.
I didn't hate it.
Yeah. But you
because,
didn't enjoy
I said, I liked a lot of the ideas, and I liked, there's so many little... I loved all the elements of this. I hated the actual writing. That's basically what it comes down to is, I couldn't get behind the actual story that was told. And it could have been something that I really just liked. Because, it really could have just been, something that I was really back home with.
Yeah, I actually thought you were going to like this story because of the setup and all that. So, when I first read it, I was like, he might enjoy this because... I mean, we both have very similar backgrounds in that we both lived out in backwoods country.
And I wanted to, but I just...
You just couldn't get past the writing.
I actually had a very similar... Well, not a very similar experience to this, but I have a story that ends up, and we see a bunch... we see shit, we get all terrified, and we go... And then we go back and check it out, and it's one of the stupidest fucking things. I can't remember if it wasn't a road sign. It was a fucking the big black and orange.
You told me about this
construction cones.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I feel like this was.
Yeah.
Just because like there was no payoff. That's
honestly, yeah. Like that's what it felt like.
But at the same time, there was an actual monster in their midst.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. But it's like, you know, fuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get like I kind of wanted to like it. Actually, at no point did I really want to like it, but looking back, I want to like this. I wish it had been well done, but it wasn't. So
from your standpoint, because of the writing format and like just how it was executed, you can't recommend it.
No. It's like there's no payoff, horrible pacing. You know, it ruins a perfectly good thing.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fine.
All right. Right, it's fine.
So that does conclude this week's episode. So if you like what you heard, give us a comment in the comment section below wherever this gets posted, either on Kiwi6, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes. If you want to leave us a review, that would be awesome of you. We're also on Tumblr. We have a bunch of title cards and stuff for each episode, so go check those out. They're usually pretty funny or pretty cool. I think so anyway. Not the artist. And we're also on Twitter, so send us a message if you want at Dr. Leviathan or Review Cultist. And you can also send us an email at aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. That's aldenterigamortis@gmail.com. Where you can also send us suggestions for other creepypastas you'd like us to discuss on the show. So, until next time, I have been your host, Review Cultist.
And I've still been Dr. Leviathan.
And this has been Al Dente Rigamortis. Sleep well.